Hey and welcome to Zanpakuto Explain, the series where I try to explain every Zanpakuto in the Bleach series. And today, we're doing Senbonzakura. This literally needs zero introduction. So, basically, Senbonzakura's release command is scatter Senbonzakura, which is pretty obvious why, because it deletes the sword. Well, the sword just becomes a bunch of tiny little swords that like fly around telekinetically, and you know that. So yeah. So Senbonzakura, it has like it makes like 1,000 like little mini blades that he can like control and shit. He can actually use it defensively as well as offensively. Because like say like someone's like trying to cut him, he can just put a bunch of swords in front of him and block the attack. And offensively, it's pretty obvious. You can just shoot the horde of swords, or maybe you can like split the two. Like you make two different like streams of swords to like do like a flank thing. I don't know. I'm not sure if he ever actually did that. I think he really only did just attack in one stream. And Senbonzakura has like, because it's pretty obvious when you really think about it. It has a safe zone around him. It's like 80 centimeters or something. Though if he did actually really want to like negate the safe zone, he can, but it's not recommended because he can hurt himself with his own sword, which is kind of shitty. Even though it's definitely one of the strongest Zanpakutos in the series. Also, the release command can actually be stopped by just covering the you can just wrap around, like it's what Yoruichi did. She just like wrapped a cloth around the sword, and he couldn't be released. That's how Ichigo survived that fight. And now actually onto his Bankai, which there's not really not much to say about a Shikai. He doesn't have any special techniques in the Shikai, but it's awesome. Like, I'm not saying it's not cool by just having it only be 2 minutes for this video. It's just it's really not much to talk about in regards to his Shikai. So yeah, we're on to his Bankai, Senbonzakura Kageyoshi, which is one of the coolest, if not the coolest Bankai in the series. Like, because it's like the simplest thing ever. Like, it's the most like physically intimidating one. Because it's like, okay, you take the original ability, making a bunch of mini swords out of the original sword. Then how are you going to make that crazier? It's going to give him a new ability, or are you going to make it just, go multiply it? And Kubo went the right route by just having, okay, let's have it summon a bunch of huge ass swords behind and in front of him in 2 separate rows. I think it's a countless number of swords. And I think the way Byakuya explains it is like, there's like 1,000 something swords in my normal like Shikai, but in my Bankai it makes like millions, like billions of tiny ass swords, and it's so cool. And I'm so glad Kubo did that. Like, I didn't know anything about Bleach when I went into it. I knew Fuji Kujaku, and I knew like I knew about Kisuke and Grimmjow. Those are the 3 characters I knew about. I knew about Ichigo. I always kind of thought he was the villain of the show, though. So yeah, when I saw Senbonzakura, I was like, oh my god, that's the coolest thing ever. And then he does Senbonzakura Kageyoshi, and it's like, whoa, my god, it's so cool. Like, it's definitely top 5 Zanpakutos. Top 10 maybe. If I really think about it, Shibai shows to be a top. So yeah, unlike most other Bankais, he actually still has to say his release command. So like when he makes all the swords, then he says like scatter, and then they all break up into little mini like the petal blades or whatever. Also, I need to kind of forgot to mention that it takes the appearance of petals. That's why it's called Senbonzakura, because it looks like a bunch of cherry blossoms. So yeah, now we're actually into his techniques, because me going over the base ability of his Bankai is pretty not like, it's pretty obvious. It can do the same things as normal Shikai can, because it's just an enhanced version of a Shikai. So yeah, okay, so he has a technique called Goke, which is he used it against that one Espada. I'm kind of blanking on the name right now. It was like the hypnotism dude. Like, he could be eyes, and if one of the eyes looked at you, it got like, he could get you under control. Which, honestly, that's the kind of thing where if any other captain fought him, they probably would have won. Well, like, the Espada probably would have won, but him fighting Byakuya was the worst thing ever. because he has this technique called Goke, which it's like he has like 60 something eyes on his body. All the eyes can manipulate one thing. Well, Senbonzakura Kageyoshi has billions of tiny little blades. And what Goke does, it makes like a orb of all the blades, and then it collapses on itself, just destroying the enemy. And yeah, that's how he died. I'm fairly sure. Yeah, Goke is really cool. It's kind of the most obvious use of the sword, though. Like, the obvious use of the Bankai, I mean. And so, another one of his techniques is Ika Senjinka, which is, actually, I probably shouldn't do that one yet. I should probably do Senke first. Senke just makes a bunch of, it turns all the little mini blades into, normal-sized katanas that, like, float in a dome around Byakuya and his opponent, and it's really cool. Cause say like he can get his, cause then he can actually get the ability to fight physically again. Cause normally in his Bankai he can't fight physically. Though what I don't think he ever actually did was make one sword in his hand and to still have the ability and still have the normal Bankai ability with the cherry blossoms or whatever. I don't think he ever did that, if that makes any sense. But yeah, so Senke makes a dome of swords. And he can control any one of these swords as he wishes. So say like one of the swords get broken, he can just get another one. Or he can like, now actually on the Ika Senjinka, which is, it just shoots all the swords in an opponent. Which is pretty cool. And I think the best use of this Bankai ever was actually in the Bleach video game, Heat the Soul. I've only played Heat the Soul 7, but it's really cool going into his Bankai in that game. It's awesome. Almost as cool as in the anime. So yeah, Ika Senjinka just shoots all the swords at the opponent, which is, I don't see how it's any different from Goke. It seems worse than Goke, but maybe it's just as good as Goke. I don't know. I legitimately don't understand how that's better than Goke is, because one is just having all the blades collapse on someone, and the other one is just shooting a bunch of swords made out of the same blades. So if you have the reason for why that's any more powerful, then please do tell. Okay, so now we have Shuke Haku Teiken, which it actually puts all the swords into one sword. And some wing. It doesn't actually though, because he actually has like wings on his back, which you have to imagine are made out of the cherry blossoms. So I don't really see how it's every sword into one sword when there's a bunch of swords behind him, in those wings. But yeah, so this technique's like his final technique. He uses it against Ichigo. Most of these techniques were used against Ichigo, like Senke was used against Ichigo, Shuke Kaku Teiken was used against Ichigo, Goke was used against Espada, and Ika Senjinka was used against the weird, like, Viking-looking dude. Can't remember his name at the moment. So yeah, that's Senbonzakura, and if I kind of sound rambly, it's because I'm pretty excited to talk about Senbonzakura. It's a really cool sword. I'd probably rank it like top 10 strongest swords in Bleach. Or only counting like Shikai and Bankai, not Resurrections. Definitely top 10. Because, especially his Bankai, it's like you cannot, like, if you're anybody that's normal, like if you're any normal Soipu, any normal Hollow, even normal Arankers, as soon as he activates his Bankai, if you don't know its ability, you're dead. Like, you cannot block it. Unless you're Ichigo, then you can block it. Or basically any person Byakuya has fought. So yeah, next time we're talking about Mayuri's Bankai, or Zanpakuto, I guess, Ashisogi Jizo.